What if I told you that not all productivity is created equal? Productivity calculated by one EMR can be drastically different than another EMR, which can also be drastically different from the way your directors want you to calculate it to begin with. Your director or decision makers may have policies around what productivity covers, which may differ from what you think it is. It can be super overwhelming, I get it, but knowledge is power. So let's figure out how your productivity is calculated in the first place. Let's dive in. I'm Theresa Richard. I've been a medical speech pathologist for 15 years. I'm a board-certified specialist in swallowing and swallowing disorders. I'm the founder and CEO of the MedSLP Collective and MedSLP Education. One of the biggest obstacles most SLPs have in healthcare is how to not make the dreaded P word, productivity, our absolute nemesis. Some organizations have high productivity standards and others do not. It's important to remember that in most facilities, productivity standards were not designed for our profession and are often modeled off of other professional CPT codes. But what if I told you that most facilities and EMRs do not calculate productivity equally, which muddies the waters even more? First, let's define what productivity is. Productivity is the percentage of patient care time in the facility compared to the number of hours worked, so the amount of time spent with the patient or doing patient-related activities versus just being in the building, grabbing coffee, going to the bathroom, etc. Patient care time includes not just billable hours, but should consist of anything related to the patient or your career development, or requirements such as facility training, meetings, committees, etc. Productive time should include documentation, billing, mandatory trainings, staff meetings, committee meetings, family calls or meetings, interdisciplinary calls or meetings, and department rounds. Productivity standards are not set by the payer sources or our EMRs. They are determined by each organization, which can mean vastly different things. Number one, how is productivity calculated by your EMR? See if you can access the exact calculation or algorithm that calculates your productivity inside of your EMR. It may be the basic template that comes with the EMR, or your IT department may have made some custom changes based on corporate requests. If you need help figuring it out based on the system, ask your director, IT, or HR representatives if they know exactly how it is calculated. We can only advocate and ask for change if we know where we're starting. I had a colleague that was growing exceedingly frustrated with not hitting productivity demands. I encouraged her to ask how it was calculated because she felt like she was running around like a chicken with her head cut off and couldn't possibly do anything else. She sat down with her DOR, and once they got in there, they realized that some of the tasks that she does every day that she should get credit for in the EMR were not actually being accounted for. The EMR had an update and it was set back to the factory settings, so all of the manual changes that the DOR and IT director made had vanished. Once they got it straightened out, her productivity was much higher and she actually did have room to breathe. Are you enjoying this video so far? I will be posting other videos just like this one that you won't want to miss, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Also, do you have any specific questions about productivity? Leave a comment below and tell me about it. We'll be sure to get your questions answered as soon as possible. What is considered productive time in your facility? Further muddying the waters, every type of setting is drastically different. It's essential to learn what the requirements are in your facility because a hospital is different from an LTAC, which is different from SNF, outpatient, and so on. Additionally, the different assessments and treatments we perform each day can have different productivity weights assigned to them. Is a screen, an aphasia evaluation, a FEES, and a video fluoroscopy all weighted the same? Or are there different timing requirements for them? Are they timed or untimed units? Check with your policy and procedures manual, HR, or your director to see if there is an explicitly written list of what is considered productive in your job role and what weight is assigned to each. If this needs to be explicitly defined, this may be an excellent opportunity for you to start that conversation about why different assessments, treatments, documentation time, meetings, committees, etc. are critical to patient care in the organization's ecosystem. I have a colleague that just took on a director role at a rather large medical institution. They never really held their therapist to any productivity standards before, but she wanted to dive in just to see if they could maximize efficiency and effectiveness of our treatments. Once she got to the bottom of the calculations, she noticed a major disconnect in what was actually being reported in the EMR and what corporate leadership thought it was measuring. She was able to advocate to leadership about why different codes are timed or untimed and why SLPs are more of a consult service rather than productivity driven. She said it resulted in very fruitful and respectful discussions that made everyone understand each other a little bit more. Number 3, speak their language when advocating for more time for projects within the facility. Once you've determined if your facility's EMR speaks the same language as your policy and procedures manual regarding productive time, you can advocate for more time to pursue your passion projects. It's incredibly important to speak the same language as corporate leadership within your organization in knowing what parameters they use to measure success. Things like risk management or patient quality and safety. This is where that language comes in huge. If you're advocating to your managers to bring in more staffing so you can have some time for less direct patient care, to pursue other organizational trainings or projects, use language they will understand that directly impacts patient outcomes. They're much more likely to grant you a few hours a week to pursue feast training if they know it will impact the facility's rehospitalization rate or risk management. Some final thoughts on productivity. Whatever you do, do not sacrifice patient safety or engage in unethical billing practices such as working off the clock, because that can get you in trouble or fired. By the way, I've got a free gift for you over at theresarichard.com/advocacy. You'll get instant access to a 60-page playbook that I created to help you advocate for yourself in any new trainings or programs you want to pursue in your organization. Inside, we even have an entire chapter on productivity and staffing. Head over to theresarichard.com/advocacy or DM the word advocacy to me on Instagram to get your hands on the playbook. The link will be in the description below.